And once again, thank you very much for joining American Agenda. We continue to follow breaking news. Former U.S. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld is dead at the age of 88. And we now have a very special guest who worked with him who can join us on the phone. Andy Card, former Chief of Staff for George W. Bush. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I am. And this is a sad day, but it's also a day to reflect and celebrate a remarkable person who gave so much to this country in so many different roles.
Yeah. What stands out to you the most, and is there a personal story that you would like to share with us?
Well, I think that Secretary Rumsfeld, who also had been a member of Congress and also had been Chief of Staff to the President of the United States, as well as a prominent businessman and contributor, he was famous for having little snowdrops, if you would, of snowflakes of memos that would go into people and kind of raise their level of conscience and call them to do a better job. And I loved his commentary about the known unknowns and the unknown knowns. But he was, first of all, someone who was very competent. And he inspired others to be good at their job, so he was a terrific leader. And he was a transformational leader. He helped transform the role of the Chief of Staff, White House Chief of Staff. He motivated a phenomenal opportunity for someone like Dick Cheney to learn how to be a terrific leader. And he had a lot of wonderful support that he gave to presidents of both parties and different philosophical persuasions. He really was a good member of Congress and an outstanding public servant. But beyond that, he loved his wife and his family, and he certainly gave an awful lot to this country in many different ways.
Yeah, a husband, a father, a grandfather, a great-grandfather. Now, you were Chief of Staff under President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2006, which was the same time that the Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, served his second time around as Secretary of Defense, being both the youngest Secretary of Defense and the oldest Secretary of Defense under two non-consecutive terms. So he holds a place in history for a lot of different reasons. You were also the head of President Bush's White House Iraq group. Tell us a little bit more about that and how you worked with Secretary Rumsfeld in that capacity.
Well, Secretary Rumsfeld led the Department of Defense as we had to go to war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and he did it masterfully. But the Iraq study group was to make sure that all of the agencies of government were working together in a complementary way, complementary with an E. That means helping each other. So the Iraq study group took the advice and support of the Defense Department and worked with the State Department, the U.S. Agency for International Development, and the other federal agencies, including the Treasury Department, to make sure that we could meet all the responsibilities while we were at war. And Secretary Rumsfeld's role was very, very significant.
When was the last time that you were able to speak with Secretary Rumsfeld, or when is the last time that you saw him?
It was probably about a year ago, maybe 40. I would say a year ago that we had communications. I did communicate with him. I guess last time I communicated with him was last December, so it's not quite a year ago. But I didn't keep in close touch with him. I knew that he loved to be in New Mexico, and I also know that he had a place in Maryland that he wanted to be in, and clearly he came from Chicago and did a lot of work there. So he will be missed, and Joyce, his wife, prayers with her and the entire family. But we should celebrate the remarkable contributions he made in our democracy, and he was a stalwart. He motivated people to do a much better job, and they did.
Yeah, well, you know, it takes something to be a public servant, and to come back and do it twice, it truly shows that you love this country. Andy, also thank you for your service to this country, and thank you very much for sharing your insights today. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Once again, former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld dead now today at the age of 88.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.